Thought I'd give a quick demo of Wireshark, and what better way to do it than to use this Cisco 2960 switch here. So the 2960 switch is often referred to as a layer 2 plus switch, in that it has some layer 3 functionality in it, such as being able to assign IP addresses to the ports, and it can run a DHCP server, and so on and so forth. So just to go through the setup here quickly, so this light blue cable here is a console cable, and that's going into one of the USB ports on the laptop. This darker blue cable is a standard Ethernet cable, and I've got it connected from switch port 5 over here to the Ethernet jack on my laptop. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is just connect to the switch. So if you see here, we're connecting through that console cable that has a USB plug on it. So this is the port that we use here. So let's open that up and just head to Hue. So I'm in the switch now. So typically when you're working in the switch, this is called user mode. And you can see some things, but you can't change anything. So what you do is you go into enable mode. You type the password. And now I'm in enable mode, and you can tell the difference. The greater than sign is user mode, and the hash sign is privilege mode, so you can actually change the functionality of the switch here. So just to see the DHCP server set up on the switch, I can do show IP DHCP pool. And you can see this is the setup that I have here. So I basically assign this 172.16.10.0 with a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. So this is I basically created a sort of a class C address with this here. So basically this is the network that it's gonna DHCP server is going to issue IP addresses on. And you can see if I go here on my Linux laptop and I type ifconfig, you'll see indeed that it does have a 172.16.10.3 address that has been signed through DHCP. So Wireshark on Linux is a privileged function. In other words, you have to operate as root to run it. So that's what the sudo command does. It basically operates as root, and it will require me to enter a password in here, and that will start Wireshark up. And the first thing Wireshark will ask you for is, well, what interface do you want me to listen on? So you can see here ENP4S0 and WLP5S0. So this is the Ethernet jack, and this is the wireless jack. So obviously I want to listen on the Ethernet jack. So let's start that going now. And this is the start capturing packets button. So you just press that, and you can see straight away it's starting to capture some packets. And we'll go through how you can sort of filter what you want to see here. But as you can see here, just listening, there's some DNS requests going on. There's some spanning tree requests from the router going on. Spanning tree we'll cover a little later on. It's to avoid switching loops. But what I'll do now is I'll enter a telnet session, and we'll have a look at the telnet traffic that gets captured. So we'll talk about telnet and SSH a little longer, but they're both remote access mechanisms that you can use to sort of remotely log on to devices over the network. Now the thing about telnet is it's completely insecure. All the traffic that goes over the network, including your passwords, is in the clear, and we'll see that in Wireshark as we get there. So let's telnet to that switch. The switch happens to be 172.16.10.1, and it's going to prompt me for a username. So the username I've set up here is Roo, and we'll see the password that I'm typing in here later on. So as you can see, now I'm in the switch, and it's taken me straight to privileged mode on the switch. So let's go back to Wireshark, and we'll see what traffic was created from that. Okay, so we're back in Wireshark now, and you can see here there's a whole pile of telnet traffic that it's captured here, along with all the other traffic that's going on.
So one of the great things about Wireshark is you can actually narrow it down to the protocols you're interested in. So you go up to the filter here, you type telnet. I'm interested in telnet traffic only, and so that filter now filters out all other traffic, so I can just focus on the telnet sessions. So one of the things that I can also do here is, if I right click on that entry, I can say follow TCP stream, and that will restrict us just to that telnet session that I created earlier. So you can see the telnet session starts up with that SYN-ACK, and ACK. That is the classic TCP three-way handshake that's going on, and then here's all the telnet traffic below there. But you can see, interestingly, this is another part of the follow function. You can actually see all the data that's transmitted, and you can see here it's captured everything, including, as you can see here, the password. So what that means is that anyone listening on the network using Wireshark, if I'm using a telnet session, now they've grabbed my password. So that's one of the reasons that you never use telnet in a production environment, is because all of these passwords are going to be going out over the clear in the network. If I were a hacker on a separate machine, now I could log straight into that switch. And this is a privileged account, so it gets me straight to privileged mode here. But it would also capture anything you do on the switch as well, such as setting up interfaces and so forth. So now we'll compare this with SSH, which is this secure mechanism for talking to remote devices across the network, and we'll compare and contrast what we see. Okay, so let's go back to a command prompt here. Let me get out of this session that I'd created earlier. I just got to hit Control back. Get out of that telnet session. So let's go into SSH now, and we'll you'll see that it's quite a bit of a different protocol. Just got to get back to the command here. Forgive me. So basically, here's the SSH command. Now, typically, you don't need to specify all these ciphers and keys. There's just a sort of a difference in setup between SSH on this Linux box and SSH on the switch. But basically, here's the actual login and IP address that I'm going to connect to. Let's hit that. I will put in the password. And now I'm straight into the switch here. So let's go back to Wireshark and see what that traffic. Okay, so here we are back in Wireshark, and I'll just type SSH into the filter and hit enter, and I'll do the follow command as I did before. Right click, follow TCP stream. Let's just put that down there for the moment. So you can see the SSH connection starts up with the classic SYN-ACK three-way handshake that all TCP connections start with. But you can see the actual, it's a very different set of packets that are flowing backwards and forwards with SSH. So basically what SSH is doing here is it's negotiating keys, then it negotiates ciphers, and so on and so forth. But if we have a look at the follow, you can see that it's a very different output here, and all that stuff that I typed in with respect to the password and so on and so forth is all hidden behind this encryption. So you can see this is a reason why SSH is the preferred mechanism in production environments, because all the passwords and all the commands that you're typing are all hidden behind this encryption and are effectively undecipherable to any listener on the network. But anyway, I thought that would be interesting just to compare and contrast Telnet versus SSH and do a bit of Wireshark at the same time. That's all for now, and I guess we'll go back to the class now.